Howdy, y'all. So, a little public service announcement from your favorite bald-headed bitch. I assume I'm your favorite. Fair assumption. So I had no idea this was possible, but I'm really fascinated and totally impressed that this actually happened to me, even though it sucked really bad. But all right, so I'll tell you what happened first. I was going to wash some clothing, and a couple articles of clothing were absolutely soaked in oil. But I really liked this clothing, I wanted to keep it. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll just wash it in with my really dirty stuff and it'll be fine. So I had it sitting, don't judge me, but I got a little behind on laundry. So it was sitting in the laundry basket for a week. And then I finally take it over to the laundromat, because I don't have my own washer and dryer. Finally take it to the laundromat on Saturday. And I wash it. I think I washed it on high temperature with a shit ton of detergent. And then I dried it. And I dried it on hot. And when I pulled it out, it was still really hot. It was really dry and really hot. I could still kind of smell the oil, but I was like, fuck it. I don't care that much. So I put that whole load of laundry, including this oily clothing, into my laundry basket, and I packed it in really tight. I didn't even bother to fold it. I was going to fold it later, but later didn't exactly happen. And so I just, packed it into my laundry basket and then put it in the back of my car. And I meant to fold it, but I just didn't quite get around to it. So Sunday, all day Sunday, it's in the back of my car. And, actually Sunday I was just at home. So it's in the back of my car all day Sunday. And then I leave it in my car all day Monday. And I'm at work, and it's sitting in this hot-ass parking lot all day long, just still packed in there, just in the back of my car. I drive back up from work yesterday, which was Monday. And I noticed it kind of smells weird, but I'm like, whatever. I'll just, I'll take care of it when I get home. I get home, and I don't feel like taking care of it. So this whole time, this laundry is sitting in the back of my car, covered in oil, dealing with extreme temperature changes, and it was already initially put into that basket really hot, again, out of the dryer. So I wake up this morning and I go to get ready to go to work. My routine is I go out to my car, I start it up, start warming it up, and then I go and have a cup of coffee with my neighbor, which takes about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I head on down the hill to work. So this morning was a little bit different. This Tuesday morning. This morning was a little bit different. I went outside, opened up my car, and the smoke just started billowing out. And I'm like, oh shit, what the hell is going on here? And where the hell is the smoke coming from after being, overnight? But I look in the back, I see the laundry basket, and I put on my brave face. And even though this thing is just, billowing smoke out of the holes ever since I opened up the car door, I grab the laundry basket and pull it outside. And I just start throwing some things out. And then I go talk to my neighbor. After I have it out of the car, moved away a good distance, I go and say to my neighbor, hey, do you have a garden hose? Or, can you get me some water or something? And we put the fire out. So here's the cool part. I had no idea this happened, but apparently certain kind of oils with cotton material, the oil kind of eats up the cotton material and it makes it hot. There, layman's terms. And, enough heat will cause some smoldering and eventually some fire. I mean, this was spontaneous freaking combustion here. How cool is that? And then, of course, because there's a whole lot of other factors here. The reason why it didn't explode and flame before is because the clothes are so tightly packed into the basket. It's actually crazy. The basket isn't warped or melted very much at all. It looks pretty much untouched. But the clothing inside, especially in that one middle section with my really oily clothing, I mean, they're just gone. It's ash now. And then the other cool thing is, as I was driving back home on Monday night, the smoldering was probably already happening, but I was just discounting it as, the clothes kind of smelled weird because of the oil. It was probably already smoldering. But when I parked my car when I got home, the enclosed car with all the windows up prevented enough oxygen from getting in there from this to keep the basket from actually just exploding in flame. I don't know. It's really cool, but it is kind of scary too. I had never heard of like oily rags just like catching on fire before. I guess it's kind of a thing that's happened in like mechanic shops and stuff. But, you know, I would never think that just leaving some oily laundry around would cause a reaction like that. And, you know, being tightly packed in there in the enclosed car, with the extreme heat of being parked in the sun all day. It's also a black car, for whatever that's worth. It was just this perfect combination of circumstances that caused this to happen. My fucking laundry spontaneously combusted. And I was real lucky I caught it before anything real bad happened. And, yeah, I had to pull the basket. I can't tell you how scary it was. I opened my car door and I just see this smoking. And I know I have to get it out of the car. And I don't want to reach and grab this fucking thing that's, you know, smoking. But what else am I going to do? That was just a real scary moment. But I pulled it out, stomped out some flames, got a garden hose, started watering things down. Where I'm at now, though, I'm not sure how to dispose of this clothing. Because I don't think it's very likely. I don't think the circumstances would be quite the same to make this combust again. But it already spontaneously combusted once. I don't want to just fucking throw this away and have it, like, light the dumpster on fire. So the only thing I can think of is getting, like, a metal bin or something, and then completely burning the clothing up myself. That way, even if it's still oily, there's no more cotton material to actually burn up. Anyway, so that's what happened to me today. I got really lucky. The damage was really minimal. But, I mean, something as simple as oily clothing, that could have easily destroyed my car and destroyed my house and put me and my kids and my fiance in danger, which is the last thing I want to do. And so there's that side of that, where on one side I'm just so astounded by these circumstances just lining up for my clothing to spontaneously combust. But it's just so scary to think about, you know, if I didn't go and have coffee with my neighbor every morning and I just would have started driving on down the hill, I would have rolled my window down and all that oxygen would have come into the car. And then I'd have this, you know, a huge fire while I'm driving down the fucking road in the back seat of my car. It could have been really bad. That could have been really bad. I did try to go to work. So I pulled the clothing out, I killed the fire, and I was all like, well, fuck it, I gotta get to work. But the fumes in the car, I wasn't even able to drive a full minute away from my house before the smoke and the fumes and all the chemicals just got into my eyes. I couldn't possibly do it. And I always drive with my windows down, you know, ghetto blasting with my windows down. That's how I roll. Damn, that was dangerous. And so, cautionary note to you guys. If you have oily clothing, and it really doesn't matter what kind of oil, but especially linseed oil, be very careful about how you wash it. I would recommend washing it probably 2 times with a shit ton of detergent and just on its own. Because if you wash it with anything else, all of that's also going to get oily too. So wash it on its own, probably 2 cycles with a shit ton of detergent. Don't put that shit in the dryer. I'm curious about how much that initial dryer heat kind of started this. I mean, maybe the clothing was smoldering since Saturday. But, you know, it just was real little or didn't quite have enough oxygen or something. So don't dry your oily clothing. Let them air dry. And just be real fucking careful. I had no idea that oil could react with cotton material like this. And it could have been real dangerous. And then if you guys are working in a mechanic shop and you got your oily fucking rags, I know you mechanics are just the filthiest, nastiest people on earth. But be fucking careful. Would you try not to burn down your garage the way I almost burned down my car? Alright. Hope you guys got a kick out of my stupid story.